Hi everybody, welcome once again to a Low on Health year-end review. This is of course part of my Besides Gaming series where I discuss other things that I've done besides gaming. This particular video of course is going to cover my 2010 movies. The movies I watched in 2010, the old and new, some I've seen in theaters, not that many. Most I watched through other means, through streaming and whatnot, and I just want to mention this is basically what I watched in 2010. I'm going to start off here with the kind of top 5. I decided to kind of take 10 of my favorite video movies that I watched this year. And of course, the first one at the top of the list, of course, is going to be Scott Pilgrim versus the World. In which case, I've seen it literally 4 times in the movie theater. I saw the pre-screening version, then I saw it with Channel Side, and then I took 2 friends to go see the next 2 weekends. So I actually saw it in theaters 4 times. I rented the Blu-ray, in which case I watched it once entirely, and then 2 more times with the commentary, in which case I enjoyed. I read the books a bunch. I listened to the movie soundtrack a bunch of times, and I very much definitive movie of the year for me, and I enjoyed it immensely. And it is kind of a niche title; not everybody will appreciate it, but I loved it immensely. The next one I want to talk about, of course, is going to be Across the Universe. This is, I believe, a 3 or 4-year-old film, but I really much enjoyed it because it's kind of a musical. But it basically always uses it's basically different renditions of Beatles songs, classic Beatles songs, put basically to a movie form, a classic musical. Taking place around the 1960s and 70s, kind of just following a bunch of kids around and whatnot. But I definitely enjoyed it. It's very much has great presentation. The visuals are just amazing. The sound is great. It has just a nice overall flow. I love the music to it immensely. Dear Prudence, of course, Hey Jude, and All You Need Is Love are just really portrayed very well in the film. And I recommend to any musical fans or Beatles fans or just movie fans in general, watch Across the Universe. Next is going to be Redcliffe, which is a kind of a feudal Japanese saga. In which cases, this was like a mini-series over the seas, and of course they made a movie version. I, of course, watched the 2 episodes, the 2 episodic versions, which had more content, and was like over 4 hours long. But it's a great kind of a feudal Japan war story, in which case it was awesome. I enjoyed it. Next one I want to mention is A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. Now, this is a film that a lot of people had mentioned to me when I was in Latin club, Latin class, the teacher had mentioned. It's just a nice, old-school, funny, classic film, in which case, if you enjoy the good old classic films, this is one of them. It's just funny to have that amount of humor and just kind of tongue-in-cheek, humor of the classic old Roman days. Next one is Up in the Air. This one got a lot of nods, awards-wise, and my grandma actually mentioned it to me, like, this is a movie you will enjoy because it's kind of pessimistic. It deals with a lot of depressing issues and whatnot, and I definitely enjoyed the movie immensely. George Clooney did a great job of just playing the character he did, playing the guy that lets people go, and I love the overall darkness to it, just kind of depressing film, and I enjoyed that immensely. Next is going to be kind of surprising. I enjoyed watching How to Train Your Dragon. This is kind of like the kiddies film, the DreamWorks or Pixar, whoever did this, based off of a series of books, in which case they did research and that the books are dramatically different from the movie, but keep the same kind of spirit, in which case I enjoyed the movie immensely. If you have kids, I really recommend watching this movie. It was great, and I put it in my top 5 of the year. Next, going down, I'm just going to ramble through a couple of these movies here that I watched recently. This is kind of just a catalog of movies I watched and my thoughts on them real quick, and I'm just going to go over some, and if you want to pause and look at what I actually said about them. But once again, this is mainly just for me to say, hey, these are the movies I watched, maybe you'll like them. Crank 2 was decent, Shoot Up was decent, Dragon Ball was horrible, Lesbian Vampire Killers was not as cool as you thought it would be, 2012, meh. Hurt Locker, I was very much pleasantly surprised with Hurt Locker. A good film, despite its slowly paced and modern war. Fight Club was one of those movies I finally got to. Black Dynamite was really funny. I recommend it to some people. Where the Wild Things Are, it was okay. Boondock Saints was just as good as the original, in my opinion. I enjoyed it. Fantastic Mr. Fox, man. 9, man. Astro Boy, okay. Those Who Stare at Goats, I decided to watch after watching Up in the Air. Bad mistake. Big Lebowski was the classic film. You have to watch it. Sherlock Holmes was very good. Johnny Jude does a really good job. It's a nice action film. Can't wait for the next one. The Imaginary Dr. Parnassus's very disappointed. Law-Abiding Citizen, I thought was really cool. I thought I wasn't going to like it. It was going to be more family stuff, but it wasn't. It was actually a good, solid, kind of almost action film. Dante's Inferno, which this fall along the lines of the Batman Gotham City, Animatrix, and the Halo Legends, in which case Dante's Inferno, not great source material, not that great of a thing in general. Bitch Flap, which is another exploitation film along the lines of kind of a grindhouse film. Actually, kind of good. Namaste London, I thought was going to be cool because I wanted more London type of stuff, but it was a classic Bollywood film, and of course it has the classic mantra of the old ways are always better than the new ways, and I hate that immensely. Defender was a nice kind of little movie that people should watch. Legion wasn't that great. Little Big Soldier, which once again kind of follows the line of Redcliffe, which is kind of a feudal Japan war story, in which case it was a very good film. I recommend it. Avatar was, I didn't really enjoy the 3D Avatar movie. I understand what it did for the whole movie industry, but the actual plot and movie I thought was just not that great. Semi-Pro reminded me that there are decently some good Will Ferrell films out there. Daybreakers was kind of a little disappointing, but better than I think the Twilight movies. Ed Wood was a nice biographical film, in which case I'm just reading what I wrote here because there's not really much to say about these. I did watch these, and for me to watch these says something. Snatch was a British comedy that you kind of it gets referenced a lot, but I didn't realize that it gets referenced a lot. But definitely give it a watch. Gotham City. Now, like I mentioned before, this is basically an anime compilation done by different studios. In which case, the Gotham City one was fantastic. Three Amigos, classic film, gotta love it. Alice in Wonderland, didn't really like it that much. Hot Tub Time Machine, I thought I wasn't gonna much enjoy the 80s centric movie, but the ending was great and it has decent humor throughout. Cusack does a good job, Rob Corddry does a good job. The guy from Office who does the warehouse guy, for some reason I can't remember his name, does a good job. Robot Geisha, not that great. Transformers, I don't like Transformers movies, and man, this just Cop Out, which I thought was supposed to be funny because it has Tracy Morgan and Bruce Willis, and it's a Kevin Smith film. Really disappointing once I realized the overall premise was them trying to pay for his daughter's over 20 grand wedding, which I hate the whole rich mentality of that, and that just infuriated me to no end. Repo Man was nice and gory. A-Team was good. Like I said, I mentioned, it stayed true, and you should have watched it by now. I'm surprised at how many people haven't watched the A-Team movie. The Rocky Horror Picture Show was actually the first movie I saw in the theater, and this was, of course, the big production where everybody does the crazy stuff in the movie theater, throw stuff at the screen, and kind of act out stuff. And it was really good. I did that once before, like over a decade ago, and I did it again this last year, and it was really good. Probably will do it again. It's nice, kind of fun, outgoing. This time I was able to drink and whatnot. It was fun. Batman Under the Red Hood was really good. I would recommend that for our old school Batman animated film people. The animated series ones. Kick-Ass was okay. Of course, Hit Girl stole the show. Operation Endgame is done by the same guy, I believe, that did Donnie Darko, which was great. Southland Tales, which was horrible. Endgame is kind of cool. Like it really flounders towards the end, but it has interesting fight scenes. Primer, which is really, really good indie time travel film. I want to recommend to anybody that's interested in like the hard science of time travel. Primer is a very good film. You should definitely watch it. Halo Legends, just like Gotham City and Dante's Inferno and Animatrix, is of course the bunch of anime studios doing stuff and doing different kind of Halo-centric stories, in which case the Halo Legends I was very much happily and surprised with. I want to recommend to any Halo fan or any anime fan in general, or any film. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I watched the original because I heard they were remaking it and a lot of people were talking about it. It's a very kind of dark, suspenseful whodunit murder movie, which I enjoyed. Clash of the Titans, the new one, it was okay. Iron Man 2, good movie, solid, but I still like the first one because I like kind of the more Genesis origin stories when it comes down to these. Expendables, I think, was kind of not good whatsoever. Had so much promise and it fell flat, and I really hate Expendables and Eat, Pray, and Love, which I did not watch because it made Scott Pilgrim's box office numbers tank. Centurion, once again, okay film, but once again, just like Expendables, a lot of CG blood, and I definitely can notice it, and then more of a kind of a physical CG blood. Practical elements of it. Prince of Persia was actually pretty good. I was surprised. Jake Gyllenhaal did a really good job. Not that many stand special effects, but just an overall, kind of got parkour elements to it. A good film. I recommend to people that are interested and maybe on the fence about it. Give it a watch. The Losers is basically kind of the A-Team, but kind of a lower version of it, but a really still good, entertaining film. I want to recommend it. If you enjoy the A-Team or you enjoy that type of film, Losers is really good. I want to say it has more humor to it. And a little bit more over the top than 18, but I enjoyed it. Mick Gruber, I don't know why I wanted to watch this. I would think I was in the mood of just watching a movie, and this was up there, and I'm like, whatever. Not that great. Blazing Saddles, classic film that you should always watch, and I just had maybe never seen it in its entirety or seen it unedited. Maybe I saw it on Comedy Central, but watching it just made me realize great comedy films are hard to find nowadays. Drawn Together, the movie, I don't know why I watched it, but I did it, and I don't regret it, but I can't recommend it. Peter Jackson, Olympians, and The Lightning Thief. My mom had this, and I was over there eating dinner, and they watched it, and I watched it, and can't recommend it. Book of Eli, even though I thought it was going to be predictable, was actually better than I anticipated. Tekken movie, this is of course just kind of a straight up fighter cash-in like the DOA movie. Not bad, not good, meh. Mad Max Trilogy, like I said, I started going through some old films this year. Mad Max Trilogy, when I watched this in high def, the first one had me really guessing what the hell was going on. Second one was solid. Third one with the kids was just annoying. Machete, which is once again a grindhouse film, a little political. A lot of CG blood again. Maybe not as great as you think it would be, but if you know what kind of movie it's going to be going into it, you'll find it mildly enjoying. Toy Story 3. I should have probably put this in my top 5, but I didn't. But if everybody has watched Toy Story 3 or the Toy Story thing. A great end to a great kind of trilogy. I really hope we don't kind of milk this later on with, straight to video movies and type crap. But really just a heartwarming film, and I enjoyed it immensely. I wish I did see it in 3D. I think this would have been the one movie I should have seen in 3D this year. Tokyo, ! Was the kind of 3 short Japanese films, which are kind of weird. The first one was really good because it was kind of depressing. The second one was just off the wall weird. And the third one was really, really good. I enjoyed it because they were with like the Hikikomori, kind of the people that are shut-ins. The Good, Bad, Ugly trilogy, once again, I was watching old trilogies because they've been coming out in HD now, so I'm watching them in high def. But The Good, Bad, the Ugly, very long movies, very good movies, and now I know why people always kind of recommend them or always have really good things to say about them. Jonah Hex, really bad Western movie. I just don't know why I bothered. I thought maybe it could have been good, but no, it was horrible. The Last Airbender, oh man, you take like the first series and you condense it into a 2-hour movie and you do a horrible job with it. The pacing is just horrible. It's not a good homage to the series. The fight scenes, there's maybe 2. The ending is horrible considering the source material. They could have done so much better. And I really hope that M. Night Shyamalan tanks after this. Or he does after maybe Devil, which I haven't seen. Outlander, which is a film that Darren had mentioned to me I should watch, and I watched it and enjoyed it. Smoking the Bandit trilogy. Really, nostalgia had blinded me to this series. The first one was great. Second one, man, because there's an elephant. And the third one doesn't even deal with Smokey that much. Salt was really a good spy action film. This is a really good Angelina Jolie film, and I have to recommend it. Resident Evil Afterlife, good film. We all know what the Resident Evil films are like nowadays. The other guys, I was pleasantly surprised because Will Ferrell movies are definitely hit or miss, but this is actually kind of a really good buddy cop film, kind of like the Lethal Weapon-ish, but with a little bit more humor in it, of course. Inception, I enjoyed it more than I thought. A lot of people had said bad things about Inception. I watched it, I was able to follow it, and I thought it was actually pretty good. Despicable Me, I was definitely disappointed with because I thought it was going to have more hijinks, but it was more or less kind of almost like a heartwarming kind of it's not that good. And then Tron Legacy I saw in 3D. It was the first movie I saw in 3D, and I was greatly disappointed with it. And 3D in general, in which case it reminded me, or kind of reaffirmed my thought that I'm not going to go see movies in 3D. But it's not that good of a film whatsoever. I played the game, didn't make me want to go see the movie. But that's really kind of about it. Those are the movies, really quick. I know that was kind of almost zero punctuation style there of just nonstop. But those are the movies that I watched. If you want to pause and look at them, those are my thoughts on them. I'm hoping this year, in 2011, to watch less bad movies. I kind of got to a point where every weekend I kind of just want to watch a movie, and sometimes I watch more than one and one not. But I've kind of gotten through the whole nostalgia of past movies and watching them in high def, and now I'm just kind of going for watching movies. I will say recently I have watched movies, The Trigun, Badass Rumble, and Red, which is the Bruce Willis retiree CIA people. I watched those 2 movies and they were great. And I'm debating on watching Elf really soon, which is of course a Will Ferrell film, which is hit or miss. But as always, this is me rambling on. Thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with this stuff. Let me know if you are actually interested in any of these movies or were thinking about watching them and you didn't until I said they were good and you did. Put those in the comments or whatnot. But as always, thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.